Sattler Files. Welcome back to the Sattler Files. This is Murray Korff, and joining me, as he always does on a day like today, is retired Inspector Neil Royle. G'day, Neil.
Morning, Murray, on these wonderful Wednesdays.
That's right. Fairly cool days, aren't they?
It's bracing, but...
bracing.
Yeah, but...
I'm dressed up in a thick woolly jumper and you're rolling around in the wet grass in your shirt sleeves.
Yeah, we athletes do that from time to time.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I think it's a sense-feeling type thing. No, one of other, none of the other, whatever it is.
A sense of feeling?
I think it is.
Well, we got a sense of feeling about not having a Prime Minister at the moment. We don't know how long that's going to be before we actually do get one. I'm not sure I want either of them, but that's okay. I suppose I'll have to go with the flow. But it's a bit silly, isn't it?
It is too, and the silliness, for my mind, started at the polling stations. Yeah, there's lots and lots of folk there foisting pieces of paper in to say, here's vote this, vote this. Some 12-year-old kid, I don't know what party he was representing, but he was actually handing out how to vote cards, this young fella. And I thought, that's very good. It must be the junior football party or something or other, because anybody can sneak in and get a party into the Senate these days.
That's right.
So I go in there and the lady asks you, have you voted anywhere else today? I said, only in Mount Lawley, Scarborough and Innaloo. I think part of their training is in the electoral office, no sense of humour, whatever.
That's right.
Because she said, I'll ask you again. I said, oh, okay, sorry, oops. So, no, I haven't. So she crosses me off, and then she gives me what appears to be half of a toilet roll, which is right. The Senate docket.
I don't need to go to the toilet. Can I have the voting papers?
Unbelievable. Now look at that, and it's, and I thought, I know, it must be a reason for it, but we have A4 sheets of paper, do we not?
We do, yeah.
And the little green one came out on an A5,
yes,
or A whatever it was.
Yes.
But if you put an A4 sheet of paper, could you not put them all along one after the other, and even turn it over, have them on the back? Because I found myself, when you put it into the little booth, those little cardboard voting booths, which are great, and they're soundproof, by the way.
Yeah.
I can hear the person scritching next door, and he's so you got to put it up the wall.
That's right, both sides.
Otherwise, because you can't get to read it all unless you. Right. So,
and then where do you put your how to vote card?
That's right. Then I've elbowed this lady in the face next door to me when I'm trying to get my Senate up the. I thought, oh, who wrote? Then you get this pencil. And this has always been a bone of contention with me, and I know other people have spoken about it. If you go into the post office to register your car or go in there to fill out a form for your passport, it's got to be in black or blue biro.
Yes, it does, because that's ink.
Exactly. But when it comes to electing leaders of the country, it can be in pencil. So I've researched this, and it's nothing to do with the fact that pencils are cheaper than biros, because they tie them down with string in any case, so you can't pinch either.
Yes.
It is, unhappily, it's in the legislation, it has to be pencil. So someone needs to go back there and just go back to 1886 or thereabouts and go cross it out and put in ballpoint pen, because there's no such things in 1886. It doesn't need to be pencil. Unbelievable. So
I mean, it really does. You have to think that, is this rule there so that it can change if the vote is not going the way that...
Wow. Why would you... heaven forbid. A guy next to... A mate of mine who was in there voting at the same time as me, he got his Senate paper out, and he was quite distressed about the fact that he had to use this great bit of paper. He said, I'm going to fold this up, so it's going to take some bugger an hour and a half to unfold it to count my vote. I thought, oh. And then, of course, they got the when you do fold that bit of paper up, you want to fold it up really tight, because they haven't made the slot in the ballot box any bigger.
That's what I was going to raise, because you really do have to fold it quite a few times before it'll go in the slot, and you can't just push it in and screw it up. You've got to.
And I would say it fills up pretty quick, because there's a lot of paper in there, and there's cram it in. There was a fellow beside me with a walking frame who had his vote, and he had his wife lady with him, and he was trying to get to the box there, and he couldn't quite do it. So he handed it to his wife. The security man there with the Uzi standing behind the ballot box steps forward and goes, and I said, let him, he can't do it. Let her, well, he should really, no, let her put it in the box. You stand there watching. He didn't slip 5 others in.
No.
So I thought, I'm going to get thrown out of here, because it's a federal offence causing disruption at a polling booth, and I've already upset 2 people, so, and not count the lady elbowed in the face. So I thought, oh, gee, wow. I just sort of posted my vote and just slunk away quietly.
Now, of course, all of that leads us to why it is we can't have electronic voting in this day and age. It completely defeats me because, look, I can move money around in my bank account on my phone, and I can draw money out of an ATM with my phone. I don't even have to do any of that. Why can't I cast a vote on my phone?
Is it too hard to scrutinise? As opposed to this hands-on, lots of people standing around with arms folded looking at you and making sure you're go in the right booth and making sure you don't vote twice and all the rest of that hoo-ha. Is it the scrutiny of it all, or would you have a polling booth which had, instead of having the little cardboard booths, you'd have cardboard booths with laptops in them?
Or iPads or anything like
whatever,
that.
Yes.
Yeah.
To get the thing counted and registered quicker.
Well,
is it not the deal? That's the deal, isn't it?
Well, yes, it is. But you see, the thing about it is that you don't have to even go to a polling booth if they did it electronically.
True.
Everybody could be issued with a unique code. You get that in the mail prior to the event, and you just log on the day or whenever you want to log on, really, and cast your vote. Now, there's only one unique code for you, and you only get to vote once. And those that can't get to a computer or don't know how, they can always use a postal vote or an absentee vote like they do now. I mean, it makes it. I don't know what the problem is. It's just ridiculous.
Oh, absolutely. And look at it now. There's problems in Cowan, I think, at the moment. They're saying that the person who dished out the voting papers is obliged to initial each one or sign them or something or other.
Right, yeah.
And there's 160 or so that weren't signed because they're too busy chastising me about how many times did you vote in other places and they forgot.
Yes.
And then there's the other part where there's 150 votes were stored incorrectly and weren't secure when they were stored. So we could be looking down the barrel of doing this all again.
I think we probably will be anyway.
So do I.
Within 12 months. There you go.
Oh, okay. Not looking at flash there for any clear-cut majorities and so forth. No, I'd suggest we might get to do this all again shortly.
I think so. But I think electronic voting has to come in, and I refuse to believe that there's not a way this can be done securely. And at 6:10 on a Saturday night, we'd all know.
Oh, yeah, tell me about it.
Wouldn't that be lovely?
Oh, yes.
Which leads me on to the next thing about the desert, which is Saturday night television on an election day. I mean, we had 3 networks covering it, all of whom told us different stories. And why do 3 networks have to do it? Why can't they get together and say, because look, the ABC in the ratings just cleaned up.
Did they?
They did. They had the best coverage according to the voters. They had people that were watching, so they had something like 800,000 people.
Oh, wow.
Watching them.
Yeah,
Channel 7 got about 100,000 nationally. I don't know why they bothered to turn the transmitters on. And Channel 9 came in second. So why do we need 3 networks doing exactly the same thing?
Well, I thought I was outside poking sharp things in my eyes because I thought this is far better than sitting here watching this on television. So I went out there and said to my bride, when you hear the screens getting louder and louder, come and get me. And if there's an ad on, come and get me anyway. So I thought, I do have to sit there and listen to these people. They have nothing to say. Oh, here's 6 more votes coming in. Hang on a second.
What does that mean?
Okay. Well, that could indicate a swing. Mind you, it could indicate a slide or a roundabout as well. So we'll just say, and the member for Sattler has polled very, very well. His whole family's been in so far, and all said, where are we? Do I have to watch this? Do I? And you sort of feel for these people who are political commentators that they're sitting there. Don't ask me a question, please. I haven't got any new aspects on this. I don't know what new light I can throw on this. I don't know what other outrageous thing I can say to bring.
That's right. God. And, of course, on Channel 9, they had Peter Costello, who is, of course, now 9 Entertainment Company's chairman. So he's up there front and centre, and there would be no bias there.
No, of course. He's a pretty clued-on fellow, and he had 1 or 2 years in that racket, so he did. He'd have a fairly good idea, especially they got no idea, any of them at the minute.
They have no idea. No clue. It depends who you talk to.
Well, Bill Shorten was on radio this morning and he said, that Malcolm Turnbull, he's sitting in his office there. I'm out in the street pressing the flesh and saying hello to people and getting out of grassroots with folk because they're the people that are they're the people that did this. And not sit back in the office and say, well, the deal is done now, I'll just wait and see what happens. And Bill's a bit late. It's all over, Bill.
That's right. You're not going to get any more votes out there, Bill.
And if you do, Bill, someone's going to ring in and say, how come they got 20,000 more votes and the door's shut? Spare me.
Bill, get on the decaf, mate. It's just not worth it.
I think so too. I think so. And I'm glad. What is it with politicians? They all have to be seen jogging. Why do they have to jog all the time? Does the media love that, do they?
Oh, look, I think it's largely driven by the media, you know. I mean, and I think John Howard started
He did too. If you want to talk to me, I'll be running around
that's right.
the Opera House at 5:30 in the morning and all the media boys saying, 5:30, what?
Yeah.
So, well, if you want to talk to me, I'm a busy man.
Yeah.
So they all run along there and in between huffing and puffing and running down cracks in the road and all the rest of it.
And, well, Tony used to get down there and get
cycle.
in the surf. And
He'd swim and cycle.
He would. Yeah.
He would too.
I mean, he was a great athlete, though, just quietly. I mean, he didn't mind a pretty long bike ride and he was good at it.
Absolutely. Still does it.
And, of course, the other thing that they're doing now is they're talking about bringing Tony Abbott back. Did they not learn from the last one? I mean, it just completely defeats me. And as we've said just a moment ago, we could be doing all this again, and then we're going to have another 3 networks covering a fresh election.
I should have taped the last one. Then I can just watch that and just. So everyone say, what do you got? Bolt. Andrew Bolt.
Andrew Bolt. Bless him.
Shooting his gob off again. Andrew Bolt saying Malcolm Turnbull should resign.
That's right. Of course, he loves Malcolm.
He loves Abbott. He loves him, and he should hang his. Turnbull should hang his head in shame and all the rest of it and so forth there, but nobody else should. No. And yet the others, you've got some other areas of the media saying that both leaders should go, because of the result. There's no result yet. But there hasn't been an overwhelming landslide in any one direction either. No. They've got a bit of a rude shock over that because suddenly the big two are sharing lots and lots of votes with the other not-so-big 22, whoever they are. So they should both go, oh, yeah, what, and replace them with whom?
That's right.
Recycle some others? Oh,
yeah, that's right.
Spare me.
Perhaps we could bring Kim Beazley back, and perhaps we could put...
Well, Bob Hawke, he'd go and get back in the Labor Party. He'd go there. Bob would do his bit, wouldn't he? There, show us how to quaff a yard of ale and all the rest of it.
Yeah, that's right. Dear old Bob.
Yeah, good fella.
So, look, I think we'll probably, in a week's time, we'll be probably chatting about this yet again.
Yes. So if you're a wise man like you, and wise beyond your years, I will add.
Thank you.
When will there be a result on this, do you think?
Well, once again, everybody's got a different view on this, but they're saying that it could be next week sometime. Next week. Now, just go back to the electronic voting.
Yep, exactly.
We would know on the night.
Yep.
We really would. We'd know if we had a hung parliament, and we'd know who was in there and all that sort of stuff. I just can't believe we're that backward that we can't do this. And the system could be used for state government elections as well as federal government elections. It could be used for by-elections. I mean, why do we all have to go through this absolutely torturous process?
And I would say ultra expensive as well.
I would say ultra expensive. I don't know how many people they employ on the day, but we all troop up to the local primary school or high school.
Well, they all get paid.
And we stand in a queue like I did on Saturday morning for about 20 minutes or half an hour, yeah.
I went in at 8 o'clock and I just wandered in there and there's so few people there, they were sort of grabbing you by the collar and dragging you in. It was great.
And you still managed to cause trouble, did you?
Absolutely. And I saw on television people say waiting for an hour and 90 minutes and all the rest of it to get in.
And the other thing I didn't like was no sausage sizzle.
There's one where I was in the reasonable areas of the world in Canning Vale where it's quite civilised out there. But it was better to get in early rather than wait and do it later on. But and I agree. All these people and so forth, all the documentation, the 9 million trees that have suffered here for this, all this stuff here, it could all be put aside if it was electronically, could it not?
Absolutely. And also the security of the voting papers. You've already put forward an issue that they've got in Cowan, I think it was. Yep. The security of the papers, the voting papers, has always been an issue. They lost a block of them.
Did you? Yeah.
In I forget which election it was now.
Yep.
We don't need that. Not in this. Not in this day.
Even
and age.
in the 1930s and so forth, when the I'll use America as an example, when the gangs were trying to influence politicians and so forth, heaven forbid, I don't know why, they just stole truckloads of them and boxes of them and just chuck them in the river to do just those sorts of things, because it is failable. The system is failable when you've got bits of paper stuck in cardboard thingos and shoved into boxes.
And you look at them, and you really don't have any confidence in the system when you see them emptying a box of
onto the table,
voting papers onto the table.
Yep.
You think, well, how many of those floated away in the breeze? How many are stuck in the box?
Yep.
And you didn't look. I saw you, and all of that. So it's just a flawed system. It really is.
And it doesn't need that labour-intensive unrolling all that stuff and going through to make sure the guy's done all the 6 at the top or the 12 at the bottom, and has he put one of the marks outside the box? Do you write somebody's name there instead of a number, which makes it invalid, and all this sort of who? Does it? Oh, as you say, and the button would go ka-ching,
yes,
and you'd know.
And it would prevent people from testing out their comedic talents by drawing things on ballot papers and stuff like that.
And writing the phantom across them.
That's right.
And all that sort of stuff. Or I'll have a Whopper with cheese and no fries, thanks. All that sort of stuff.
And they do.
And people go, oh, that'll be invalid. Fair enough then. Okay. Fair enough. So just put donkey across there.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Or
the donkey vote.
The donkey vote, yeah.
And then they go, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because this is, as we get back in, there's the compulsory voting in this nation. It's compulsory attendance at a polling booth and get your name crossed off. That's what's compulsory. It used to be $20 fine. 180 now.
Is it 180?
Yeah.
Goodness me.
Not that I've been fined, but
no, but there is a penalty.
Well, I thought it pertinent to research what the penalty is going to be for misbehaving in a polling station, because I thought I was going to get one, but I didn't.
No people in there, and you still managed to create trouble.
Well, they all came awake.
Yeah, they did.
And they're all pointing and saying, that one over there. So they all watched me until I left. Yeah. But that was fine. I dropped 2 cigarette butts in one of those ballot boxes, but they take ages to catch fire. No, I didn't, Murray. Heavens, that's a federal offence.
Wonder what they'd do. And once again, we're talking about security here. What would they do if somebody really did something
exactly
like that? Ran in there, grabbed both of the cardboard cartons
and ran outside,
and then distributed them all over the oval.
Yes, good point.
I mean,
good point.
There's no security there. It's only the AEC people.
Well, the guy with the walking frame, he was going to get the stick because he was handed this to his missus to put in the box for him. Yeah. I said, hey, spare me. The guy can't get to it. Jeez. Give it to me. I'll put it there for you.
Oh, dear. Oh, look, we've solved that one. Electronic voting, and that should be in place for the next election, which will be in March next year.
I want to see them implement something on the lines they did in Timor.
Oh, that's correct, because you went to Timor, didn't you?
I was there for 6 months with the United Nations and the AFP, yes. So at the time when, this is in 2001, at the time they're going through their first democratic election after the expulsion of the Indonesians and all the rest of it there. So I'm in a place called Maliana, which is on the border, and there's about 60 cops working there. I was chief of operations and deputy commander of the police in there. And so we were providing security for the polling stations. So there was hundreds and hundreds of candidates. And, of course, the Timorese, bless them, being not all that well read and so forth, a lot of them couldn't read at all. So the voting paper was probably about 3 times longer than the Senate one on the weekend, that white one, but it just had photographs of the candidates and their colours underneath them of what parties were. So the Fretlands and all that stuff, they had their colours and whatnot. And there's no pencils, no nothing, so they gave everybody a nail. And you poked a hole through the photograph of the person you wanted. You could always tell people that weren't that well liked because they had 55 holes through them because they're ones that didn't. So they think, oh, someone's got a shotgun to this fellow. So they poked the nail through. So if you poked the nail through the wrong person, there was hell to pay because they couldn't. You couldn't unpoke
the hole.
That's right. You couldn't unpoke the hole unless you had some blue tack or something on you.
Yeah.
So, and the interesting part about it is, and as it come to pass, I think the Fretlands come in by about 87% of the vote. And then because it's such a democratic country and so forth, they took great pains to go around, in Maliana especially, to all the houses of those of the minor parties and beat the tar out of them for not voting Fretland. So I thought, yes, democracy's alive and well here. This is going really, really good. On you go, boys.
At least they did it after the
event.
They
did too. So I don't think the old electronic one would have worked in Timor.
Probably not. Probably not.
I mean, you don't want people poking nails through your flat top on your laptop, do you? So
no, perhaps not.
No.
But I mean, it's even that system's flawed because you'd be feeling compelled to poke Bill Shorten's eyes out, wouldn't you?
See, it encourages violence that sort of time. Bring on electronic voting and stop this violence.
Absolutely. We're going to take a very short break.
Before they throw us off the air. And we'll be back with more with Neil Royle and myself shortly.
This is Sattler 5.
DevRite Homes, when you're looking for attention to detail and a uniquely designed home to suit all your needs. At DevRite Homes, we only build a limited number of homes per year, so we can truly focus on what you want out of a prestige home builder. We've continually won awards for excellence, with a record number of wins last year and the proud winner of the Australian Townhouse Villa of the Year. While we love building homes to suit each client, we pride ourselves on designing homes that take into account the special safety needs of some of our clients. If you have a dream, we can make it come true. Talk to Jay Mangano and find out more about DevRite Homes at www.devrite.com.au.
You need banking services of any type. Secure Force Protective Services run a cash and transit service here in Perth. From as little as $25, why risk your employees travelling to the bank when Secure Force can do it for you? Give us a call at 9440-5011.
You only ever want the best for your family, and no one understands this better than the caring ladies at Marina Perslow and Associates. That's why we offer Australia's leading prepaid funeral plan. It means your family won't be left with the added strain of organising your funeral, and everything will be taken care of, all the little details. Your family will have the support they need with a woman's touch and gentle understanding. So leave them with loving memories and leave the rest to us. Visit marinaperslowfunerals.com.au or phone 9388 1623.
I'm John Hughes. If you want a hassle-free, very enjoyable and happy experience when buying your next vehicle, come to me in Victoria Park. I personally train all my salespeople to be non-pushy, friendly and professional, and we always strive to provide first-class before and after-sales service to all of my customers. So choose your dealer before you choose your car. That's John Hughes in Victoria Park, your car buying destination. DL 6061.
This is the Sattler 5.
Welcome back to the Sattler Files with Neil Royle and Murray Korff. Neil, we've just been slugged with another $99 on our car licences.
What, WA Inc. again?
No,
paid for that?
We're still paying for that.
Yeah, I know.
On our driver's licences, I think that wasn't it? I think.
It went on, I'd levy until the WA Inc. horrendous debt was repaid. I think that's happened, but I think it's still in there.
Oh, get away.
No, they haven't. They're reluctant to take away things once they're in there. And we know about the GST, for example. Both parties said, I wish we didn't have it.
Yeah, that's
but
right.
But neither will get rid of it. And one was, I might make it 12.5. Got to have it.
That's right.
So this 99, and I know it's the cause for caring for injured persons.
I have no problem with that.
Me either. Me either. And it is ultra expensive, and it's life changing, and sometimes life ending, and lots of times it goes forever. So I understand where it's coming from. And I know what insurance companies do and need to do, and the rest of it. But the issue I have is $99 per vehicle is what you need to pay from the 1st of July. I'm neither Rockefeller nor athletically Hercules Unchained, but I do have 3 vehicles. So I've got a motorcycle and a couple of cars, a good car and one that takes my golf clubs with me to the golf course and sometimes gets me back. So I've got $99 each for those 3. And that's an impost enough, because registration of cars is not cheap, and all the third party and all the rest of it there, which is another question about the third party, that it is expensive, and that's why there's the option now to re-register your vehicles for a month at a time. Is it a month at a time or 3 months? 3 months at a time. 3 months at a time, which is because people can't afford.
Yep, not in one hit.
No, exactly right. And you try and stagger your vehicles so they're not all coming at the one time and all the rest of it. But if I was a primary producer or something, although I don't know what sort of exemptions they get, but if I had 6 trucks and I carted the carrots from my farming property, my market garden, to town, so suddenly I've got to add $100 per registration for each of those 6 or 8 trucks. That in itself is unfair, and I would suggest probably goes on the price of the carrots. Who knows? But would it not be a more fair and equitable situation if instead of $99 per vehicle, it was $99 per driver's licence holder?
Well, it probably wouldn't need to be $99 in that case. It'd probably need to be $50 because there'd be more drivers than cars, wouldn't there?
I would expect. Oh, yeah, it would be. Yeah, it would be. Again, good point. So to levy the vehicles because of the injuries to people and so forth, injuries, whether a vehicle is involved or not, or a vehicle will be involved, but a driver has to be involved as well. So to me, that is the obvious way to go, and probably the fairer way to go too. So if you've got a household with 4 drivers in it, I know it's money because the 4 drivers in your household, there might be 6 vehicles or a trailer and a caravan and a jet ski or whatever, a jet ski trailer or whatever it is there, all vehicles.
Yep. Look, the thing about it is that you could make it even more equitable if you really wanted to by putting a small charge on every litre of fuel. And the reason I say that is because the more you use the road, the more likely you are to have an accident of some sort that would cause injury. So the higher your premium, if you like, if you equate that. And I mean, it could be fuel. I mean, they did in aviation. They did that. They put a levy on the cost of fuel, so that they paid air navigation charges by the number of hours you flew. So fuel would be another one. That's a pretty sensitive issue. But once again, I mean, it really, it's quite equitable in lots of ways. People scream about it, but the reality is the more you drive, the more you pay. So once again, the more you drive, the more likely you are to have something happen that would cause a claim on this third-party insurance. And you're right. And the fuel costs are a sensitive issue, and it is the most volatile of costs on a day-to-day basis. I can't get over it. I thought Monday was the El Cheapo fuel day. So on a Monday in recent times, I looked at the fuel as $1.25, and I thought, okay, must be about $1.50 by the end of the week. So I ignored it. On the Thursday, it was $1.15 at my local service station. I thought, well, what's happened to this? So no one really knows. And so everyone goes, oh, wow, it's $1.29 today, and oh, you beauty, it's $1.09 next week. So it would not be difficult to insert a 2-cent levy or whatever it is in amongst that there, because people, their cars and vehicles won't go without having that U-Butte liquid in them. That's right. And if you choose not to drive your car for a year, well, it's not going to cost you anything. No. So there are other ways to think of it rather than say, we'll just drive my Chevy to the levee and add this levy to it. It's what they do. That's right. Or drive it off the levee if you can't afford it. Well, yeah. And whether you drive your car or not, yes, you're still paying it. Yep. Unless you let the registration expire. Yes. Then you're not. So hereby hangs another tale. That's right. There are those, if you don't want to pay your driver's licence, and heaven knows no one's going to sanction that. No. You can save yourself, $140 a year or $200 a year, whatever it is, for something like driver's licence. Yes. Yeah. And drive around. And if you get grabbed after 5 years driving without a licence, you get a $50 fine or something. Go, oops, savings are $490, $690, whatever it is. Yeah. And the same for vehicle registrations. All right, yes, if you're driving an unregistered vehicle, you have a crash, you've got no insurance. Well, a lot of people don't pay insurance either. No, they don't. And there will be, I'm here to tell you, because out there now, in amongst us, there's 50 to 60,000 people who are not authorised to drive their vehicles. But no driver's licence, is that what you're saying? That's right. They're either disqualified, cancelled, haven't got one, or demerit point suspension. There's 60,000, probably more than that now, out there on any day who are driving around in that situation. Then we go to the ones who are under fines enforcement because they haven't paid a fine, so their licence, their vehicle registration is already, and the driver's licence rather, is cancelled or suspended until you do. All that sort of stuff there. There'll be those who can't afford to pay this. There's always those who don't want to pay extra things and won't because they're crooks. But there'll be those out there who legitimately cannot afford to pay this and won't. And they'll take the chance. And if they get grabbed, oh, wow, you're driving an unregistered vehicle.
$70 fine or something or other, whatever it is.
And they've made a lot of money.
Yeah, and
they've saved a lot of money.
That's right. And the most expensive part of that, it's not the fine, is when you go and queue up at the licensing centre and get your car done, and they pick out there's a crack in your windscreen, and that tyre tread there is not 1.5 millimetres, and that costs you more to get your car licensed back. If you choose to do that. But if the police or whoever it is fine you for an unregistered vehicle and you get your fine and pay your fine, no one comes around your house and goes, "Excuse me," because once upon a time, if your car is deregistered by more than 30 days, the police will take the plates off. And then sooner or later, someone will identify a car driving around no plates on and think there's something wrong here, and you might get pulled over. Otherwise, you won't. But now they don't that, it's too important. You should hand the plates in.
Oh, be an honest Johnny.
Yeah, if your car's deregistered, hand the plates in. If you don't, well, they'll suspend your driver's licence under fines enforcement. And then, woe betide you. But if you're driving around under fines enforcement for whatever long, and no one tells you are, there's no offence committed. Yeah, who's running this system here?
Is it? They do have number plate recognition now, don't they?
Sure do.
On some of the
most traffic cars do. Yeah,
yeah. When they're on the road.
True. Those 12 traffic cars they've got, there's probably
very bad.
Well, I'm not the greatest advocate of what's out there in the road and the patrolling capacity because I don't see it.
No.
And I don't think it's the fault of the guys and girls who are driving the cars around.
No.
It's those who tell them where not to drive their cars around.
Yeah, they goes a bit further up the chain, doesn't it?
Does indeed.
So the number plate recognition is in these cars, and it's on all the time, and it flags ones that they know are not registered.
It takes the onus off the coppers to actually look at people and see he looks a bit crooked, looks a bit sus, his car's a bit funny, I might pull him over, because it'll go ka-ching, and it'll light up as being a vehicle of interest. So the plate number comes being the plate is attached to a vehicle of interest. The vehicle might be of interest because of the driver, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So then you go stop, yap, gives you a license, have a look at it, and all the rest of it there.
Okay. Yeah.
And if it comes to pass, it comes up because it's registered as a fines enforcement vehicle. It indicates to the police that the person or the person who owns that vehicle owes the government money and he's not allowed to drive. So then they'll pull him out and say, "You're under fines enforcement." "Am not." "Well, you are." "Am not." "Well, I'm now advising you are, and henceforth you can't drive." And off they go. They don't ping him because he hasn't committed offence because he doesn't know that he's under fines enforcement, because I don't think they write to him. I don't know what they do. They might write to him, but if people change addresses and so forth, who's going to...
Yeah.
It's too iffy. It's too iffy. So the only safeguard the police have is when they actually catch this person, they say, I'm telling you now, you're under fines enforcement, and I'm going to log this on the computer that I've told you. So then, henceforth, if he gets caught, he gets pinged. But other than that, if he's under fines enforcement and he goes to another country for a couple of years and comes back again and continues on and so forth there, that's just, well, lucky him.
Yeah, that's right. So really what you're saying is that by putting it on car licences, there are those for either genuine or non-genuine reasons just simply won't do it.
No,
because it's going to add another $100 every time or each year that they license their car.
Yep, and I'd
never thought of that, but that's a very valid point, isn't it?
I can see the log rooms of the fines enforcement registry going, we're choking here a bit. Oh, there's a few of these, and they will, and they will. And that's just the way it is. And then government and agencies of government have got to find a way to recover the money. Good luck, Huck.
Oh, goodness me.
Good luck.
Yeah, no, it is flawed a little bit, isn't it?
Well, you can go to any of the Facebook pages there and you'll find out there's people with 100,000 plus in fines owing.
Good.
How many?
Lord.
Yeah.
200,000, goodness
Yep,
me.
just don't pay them, say, oh. There you go.
It's a pretty long stretch in jail, I'd have thought.
Once upon a time, you did get a jail.
Yeah, but they don't.
No default anymore. No default. So if you went to court and you were fined $200, or default, whatever I forget what the ratio was those days, but how much per day. So if you couldn't afford to pay the fine, you're going to cut it out sitting in the slammer. And that would happen regularly. And you had warrants, and you go and get people and say, "No, I can't pay. Well, come with me." And they go and sit in the lockup there and cut out their time, and off they go. And lots chose to do that.
Well, I think it's a good thing they don't do that anymore in lots of ways.
It's far better in regional WA at smaller country police stations, from my time as OIC of country police station, where you go and get the guy and he go and sit in your lockup. He ate the same meals that you and your family did because your missus cooked them, and he mowed the lawn and raked up leaves and just sat around and talked to the kids, and when it got locked up at night time.
Bit of a holiday.
Well, got locked up because, you didn't have armed robbers and child molesters in there, just defaulters and fines. And if they're decent sort of folk, you pick and choose because you're the OIC and say, yeah, I'll take him. And you want to come on? Yeah, okay. So he goes and does 10 days in your lockup, and you have the cleanest lockup in the world and the cleanest paths and no leaves in your gutter.
That's right.
And he eats good 3 square meals a day. Can't have alcohol, can't have women, but you're just sitting in there. Got a TV, got everything else.
So let's change it while we're here.
Go on then.
And then make it a levy on fuel. Let's do that because nobody can avoid paying that. Can they?
Got it right. Well, unless you do some stick-ups on some fuel tankers. Hasn't happened yet. Probably hard to hide. Otherwise they would be.
That's right. Hard to hide. They certainly are hard to hide.
Exactly.
But don't you think that would be a better way?
It certainly is an option that people say, oh, I know we pay enough for petrol as it is. Well, week in and week out, whether you're paying $1.09 or $1.49, people still pay it.
And far more equitable in my view.
I think so too. I said too. Or move sideways to the driver's licence. And if people choose not to pay that, here we go in that big circle again.
We do. I'll drop a note to Lisa Harvey, I think.
Have a go at that, before she gets to be Premier.
Probably leader of the opposition, I'm thinking. Probably it will be her next step, and then Premier after that, perhaps.
Oh, another good. Well, we'll see how we go. That's 14th of March next year, isn't it, for states?
Yeah, I think I know we're straying off things a little bit here, but I think Colin's going. He's going to retire compulsorily, I think.
When I worked in Lisa Harvey's office for a year, as I did prior to retiring, I said to her at the time, "Who picked the 14th of March for the next election? Don't you know anything about history? Give Julius Caesar a ring. It's not a good day to have." 15th of March.
The Ides of
March. It's 15th of March, actually,
Yeah, but anyway. Neil, it's been fun.
It is.
We've solved a lot of problems, and I'll get that note off to Lisa Harvey.
I think you should. Thanks for that.
And suggest a fuel excise.
And I'll go home and start selling a few vehicles.
Yeah, we'll all have to do that, I think. Neil, thanks so much. We look forward to catching up with you next week.
And we shall.
More on the Sattler Files very shortly.
This is the Sattler